So look, bro, y'all probably expecting me to say that the Pulsar X2V2 is still the best mouse on the market, best mouse for fingertip, best mouse for claw grip. And you guys wouldn't be wrong, but at the same time, there's a lot of things with this mouse that I just ended up not liking, you know what I'm saying? That for me is a trade-off. And kind of been finding myself using different mice, as you can see from the Atlantis Mini that's sitting on my desk right now. You know what I'm saying? Gave it a second chance, really been enjoying it. And with new shapes coming out like the Sora V2, that's supposed to be lighter and just have better specs, and just overall I feel like the shape might mess around and be a little bit better than the X2. You know, it's a lot of different options on the market, so I just kind of want to go over in this review, you know, overall some of the biggest takeaways and some of just the biggest things that I had a problem with this mouse. With that being said, let's jump right into it. So the X2V2 is still, in my opinion, a easy top choice on the market because you don't get this type of coding, uh, optical switches, and then the ability to have 4K and just a really great shape like this for $99. You know what I'm saying? It's a very reasonable price for this mouse considering what you get. But with this being the first batch, or well, this mouse was the first batch when it came out, I did encounter some QC issues that I do hope that Pulsar fixed with later batches, and hopefully they fixed with the esports series. One of the main issues that I did experience was with my scroll wheel. Now my scroll wheel, you probably really can't tell, but it moves very slightly, right? I'm not clicking it in, and that's not really too much of an issue. But the issue comes from when I'm scrolling it, or if I'm clicking it in, or just the overall feel of it. It feels very mushy, and it makes this creaking and squeaky sound that is really not enjoyable to the hand. More so not the ear, but the hand, because it's like you can hear it very slightly when you're clicking in, but when you're really in game, scrolling, pressing in, it just feels off. It just feels like something is wrong. And this is an issue I actually had on the X2V2 and on the X2H. That's part of the reason why you guys really haven't seen me talk about the X2H too much as of late. I need to get another one actually, but yeah, that's kind of like some of the biggest issues I've had is with the scroll wheel. Scroll wheel just is very annoying to use. And outside the scroll wheel, what is one of the biggest things that I always preach about in my reviews? Y'all should know what it is. You know what I'm saying? What is different that is different about this mouse? The fact that I have grip tape on here, you know, the coating over time just hasn't held up in the way that I wanted it to. I just feel like this coating is decent, but it isn't as good as it could be. I feel like personally for my sweaty hands, that a mouse like the Atlantis Mini that has this, and specifically the Atlantis Mini 4K, because all of the Lamzu mouses have different coatings. They feel really slightly different, but about the same. But the Mini 4K black version, in my opinion, has the best coating, hands down. It's chalky, it's dry, so when you got these sweaty hands, it makes you feel even more locked in. And I do wish that down the road that maybe Lamzu will eventually go to a coating like that, but I highly doubt it. It just doesn't seem like something they would do. So only time will tell. You feel me? The coating really ain't held up like I wanted it to. Whenever I do longer gaming sessions, you know what I'm saying, when I'm playing longer sessions of Apex, Warzone, and things like that, 4 hours, 8 hours, you know, I start really seeing where like the coating is an issue. It just becomes a very slippery hot mess. It isn't as bad as the HTX, but it's pretty close, you know what I'm saying, as far as like in hand how it feel for me. I can usually get away with it on the sides of the mouse and up here on my mouse 1 and 2, but just right here making any kind of palm contact, it just feels very slippery, and it ruins my micro adjustments and just overall makes aiming a little bit harder. So I do find myself at times swapping to other mice, like I said, the Atlantis Mini or the MZ1 or the ZA13C, and sometimes even with the MZ1. The MZ1 arguably has a worse coating than the X2V2, but for some reason that coating works works really well with my hands, and I just really enjoy it, you know, especially with those longer sessions. So maybe that's just a me thing. Maybe some of you guys experience the same thing. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But for me, that's one major flaw I feel like with this mouse, is just the coating just feels kind of just iffy depending on the day. And really this last one is more of a personal thing, the mouse 1 and mouse 2 click feeling. Now, while I did say in the original review that I thoroughly enjoyed the click feeling on this mouse. Even argued that it might be better than Razor's. Over time, those switches just started to feel really cheap and didn't really feel as good in game to use. So I found myself swapping off and using the Razer optical switches, the Gen 3 switches that come in the Viper V2. And just to give you a close up so you guys can actually see that I am using those Razer switches, I just found myself enjoying the feeling of these more just because they're a little bit more clickier, a little bit more punchier, and whenever I'm in game, I can really, you know what I'm saying, feel the springiness in the clicks when I'm using it. And if you would have told me that hey, these are mechanical switches, I probably would have believed, you know. That's just how good these Razer opticals are. And outside the Razer opticals, I would say the Sora probably has the next best optical switches with the Omron opticals. So I haven't got my hands on that yet, but whenever the Sora V2 drop, I will be copping that and we'll be doing a full review and I'll swap it out and see how they feel on this mouse and whatnot. But yeah, overall though, the Pulsar optical switches are really good, but I just found myself enjoying these a lot more, so I swapped them out. And I would do like a comparison so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but I don't even have the switches anymore. I put them into the Razer and I just sold it, so you know what I'm saying. But down the road, we'll probably get some more comparisons going and things like that, so you know, we'll see. So if you're asking me would I still recommend the X2V2 as a top option on the market, yes I would. If you fingertip, if you claw grip, overall if you just have medium to large hands, I recommend the X2V2 Mini specifically just because it's a great shape and it doesn't feel all that small in hand. You just get that extra precision, you know what I'm saying? But overall, is it a great mouse? Yes. The coding is good enough. It isn't anything like the HTX. I keep using that as a baseline comparison because the HTX just is a definition of like everything you can do wrong with a mouse, you know. Like the coding is good enough, the clicks feel good enough, and overall the QC is good enough, the price is good enough, and just overall it's a really solid mouse, you know what I'm saying. Me being an enthusiast, I did extra mods that you don't have to, battery swaps, weight reductions, you know, change out the scroll wheel for something a little bit more appealing that I like, and added little stuff here and there just because I wanted to. But you don't have to do any of those things with this mouse. You can use it stock. The stock skates are actually pretty decent. I did find myself, you know, swapping it off, of course. You know, I like core pads and tiger eye skates and all that other shit, but you know what I'm saying, stock skates are decent. So if you really in a budget and you need something that's really good and you can't spend too much money, I still highly recommend the X2V2. It is a really awesome shape that can last you for years to come, and Pulsar is a really great company, so they're always innovating, they're always you know, taking care of their customers. So if you have any issues, you can always hit customer support and they'll RMA and get that taken care of. So the Pulsar X2V2 is still a great choice for a mouse, and overall, in my opinion, still top 3 in the market. So, hey, it's been your boy Woodja, and I'm out, man.